everyone, and welcome back once again to Garry's Mod. And believe it or not, this is indeed Garry's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is 8800 Blue Lick Road. Now, if this place looks familiar to you, it's because this place became an internet phenomenon a few years ago when it was actually posted on a real estate website. As with most listings, this one offered a virtual tour, but as people started to investigate, it quickly became clear that this was a very strange house. And I'm not talking about all this clutter and dirtiness that you see around you. If we have a look around this place, it looks like a normal suburban house. Maybe an attached dining area to the living room over there. Maybe a repossessed hoarder house or something. But if we have a look around, well, you'll start to see that it's a lot more than just a dirty home. Before I get started exploring, a little bit about the map itself. If you look around, you'll notice that a lot of objects in the environment are very blotchy, very low-res looking, almost looks like they're melting. I believe this map is put together using a technique called Photogrammetry, in which thousands and thousands of photographs from an environment are compiled together to create a 3D space. I'm assuming this is made using the images from the virtual tour itself, which will naturally have a lot of gaps in information and perspectives, which leads to stuff like this in photogrammetry. Now, we do actually have these things floating all throughout the map, and I believe we can actually interact with these and see the panoramic views from the virtual tour. Now, I can't get them to work in VR, but maybe Officer Flatscreen will have a visit to this residence, a wellness check, and see what can be done. Now, let's get started on exploring. Okay, that appears to be the edge of like a blanket sitting on the edge. I was worried we were walking in on a murder scene. And this does feel like something that might have a murder scene or some kind of crime attached to it. I mean, look at this place. All these boxes stacked up against the walls, all those clothes on racks over there. And that's the thing. You'll find that there's a weird sense of organized chaos in this place. Like, it's dirty, it's confusing, but everything, all this clutter is actually very organized. It's very sorted. And it's really weird. I have no idea what this place was supposed to be. I mean, I think it was listed as residential. We walk around here and it looks like residential. See, we have this little attached kitchen right off of the living room. But we've got exit signs above the doorways. There's like a fire bell over here. So I don't know, maybe this was like some kind of like church or community center that was later converted to residential? I don't know. Now, the way I actually found out about this place, it was like probably like in the middle of the pandemic. My sister showed me this stream of somebody exploring the virtual tour of this place. And the goal of that stream was you got to find the bathtub. So that's going to be my sort of soft goal for today, besides seeing everything. All right, well, let's start heading down these stairs. And it's weird. Even in photogrammetry with this low detail, it all feels so properly scaled. And using like actual photographs, it does feel sort of immersive. Like, I almost feel like I can smell this place. And it does not smell good. Is that a minion blanket on the floor? Well, let's head downstairs. Look at this cramped, narrow hallway. Little rooms off to the sides. This feels just like so claustrophobic. There's something about actually having so many doors in this hallway, this tiny hallway, that makes it feel more cramped paradoxically. That's something I'll have to think about in the future for map making. We've got a little bathroom off the side here. Now, we went downstairs, but this must still be ground floor. It can't be a basement because we've got a window right there. Across the hall, this looks like a laundry room. No carpet, and it's very, very dirty. Oh, look at that. It's like the boiler and all this just exists in like a gash in the wall. It almost looks like the wall itself was torn open and everything was just shoved in. Those kind of look like cat beds, which I'm pretty sure I saw one or two of these upstairs as well. So did this place, on top of everything, also have a bunch of cats roaming around? Hopefully they were relocated and given somewhere better to stay. This place would not be at all safe for cats. So many holes in the walls and such. We've got a dingy, dirty little bedroom right here. Although, to be fair, it does look exactly like the kind of space I would set up for myself if I had to rent an apartment. I wonder if this place wasn't maybe renting rooms? And I do wonder if it's sold as is, with all the clutter within. Look, see, this can't be legal, right? Having a bedroom just shoved into what is essentially probably a former storage closet. Now, what's down this hallway? See, this is where it starts to take a weird turn. Because this no longer looks like residential to me. This looks like, well, like a church basement or something. Continuing to see those exit signs up above the ceiling. And that's weird. Just what is the floor situation here? Because we go up a fairly steep set of stairs here to get upstairs, but here it's only like a half stairwell that leads into yet another cluttered environment. It once again raises questions of what this place even was, and if we were to go outside, what would it look like? Because I can't make sense of the geometry of this, and we're only a few rooms in. This looks like it was a hallway, but they placed shelves inside to make room for all this loot. I don't know. I'm trying to speculate on what this place would have been. But even if we go the church basement angle, no. I'm trying to see this for what it would have been and not for what it is. And this looks like it all would have probably been one continuous hallway rather than a storage room. It just widens up here. Bathrooms off to the side, but these look more like public bathrooms. These are like stalls. What would have been the operation here? Because it's all full of stuff. Maybe some kind of like retail scam? Organized theft rings? I honestly have no idea. Oh, shelves and shelves of stuff. And it gets quite narrow in places. I almost feel like I have to pull my shoulders together so I can squeeze through, but back here there's yet another staircase. It's like chutes and ladders up in here. Okay, well, if we try coming up here... Oh, I kind of thought that all this stuff was going to be piled against a doorway or something. That's another exit. Okay, this is absolutely bizarre, because we should be back on the second floor now, but there's nothing connecting any of this to the other one? What is the deal with all of this? I guess we found the bathtub already. Guys, what is this? It doesn't come out on the other side either. Look, there's a staircase on the other side, as if there's supposed to be a door here, but there just isn't. Who built this? For what reason? This is one of those... Look, I've been taking the former church angle for all of this because it has structures that are sort of similar. You know, community center, general use type of architecture. But this? How? Why? Did they get it built themselves after this operation became a thing? Who would do this? There's no way it's up to code. This place is almost like... Well, I think that's why it caught people's attention so much. This is basically just the random discovery of a real-life liminal space. And I mean the dictionary definition of liminal here, because you are constantly in transition. None of these rooms really feels like a room, except for the familiar residential that we came out of at first. I guess what I'm saying is that everything feels like it's built into hallways. This whole thing is just halls on top of doorways and staircases. There's another stairwell. I mean, I suppose this is a big empty space, but it's hard to imagine what this would even be like. I guess having all these rows of shelves does kind of turn it into a hallway in a way. Now, the stream that I was watching, interestingly enough, it took him a long time to find this bathtub. And I think the reason for that was because people got so curious about this place that the traffic overwhelmed the real estate website. And I think they actually removed this whole section from the virtual tour to discourage people from coming. Can we get through here? Just barely. Now, once I start looking at the actual, panoramic views, you'll start to see just how organized this really is, if you can believe it. But yeah, back here, just a closet. Actually, hang on. It's hard to tell in this view. I can't tell if there's a wall behind that shelf, but this just looks like a shelf has been haphazardly shoved into there. Yeah, look, it looks like there's a light switch right there. That looks like it goes to a whole other room. Okay, I feel like I'm almost like a partially blind man. I legitimately don't even remember where I came from. I think we came from right there. All right, so let's take the other stairwell over here then. Oh, look at these mountains of boxes. This would be another front door, and this comes back down to here. Wait, have we seen this before? I don't even... Do you see? Do you see how easy it is to get lost in this space? Like, even if we go with the church basement idea, it's just so bizarre in its architecture, so inherently confusing, that I can't see what utility it could have ever served, even before they went and dirtied this place up. All right, can't really get in there. Okay, we have been here. Okay, on our right will be that narrow hallway, yes. I'm starting to get an idea for this. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to explore this in VR, like actually able to move around, because when I was watching the stream years ago, which I remember so little of, it was actually like really impossible to get a sense of direction, because in a virtual tour, you don't walk around like a person, you slide back and forth between pictures. My controller just hit my headset. Oh, this seems to be some kind of office. But even here, all the merchandise is piled up. There are so many computers around, so many office setups, that I'm starting to think this has to be some kind of not up to code retail operation, right? Like all this stuff was for sale? I can't tell what they've done to this doorway, but it looks like it's been like sealed somehow with some kind of netting. I gotta wonder if this wasn't maybe the subject of some kind of police raid at some point. Because if it was, imagine the body cam footage. I would love to hear the cops try and make sense of this, talking to each other, radioing outside like, no, you really don't understand what it's like in here. But it seems I've gotten completely turned around once again. Through here? Have we been through here? This cuts out onto this hallway, but I think this one's a dead end. That's all this is. It's a maze of hallways. Maybe it might even be kind of fun. I mean, you'd have to make all kinds of custom props because you can't do this individually. It might be kind of fun to try recreating this in Hammer so that you can actually have this as a Garry's Mod map without the lack of detail. Hello, weird dark room in the back. Oh, you're like a little closet underneath the stairs, are you? Okay, a horrifying thought just occurred to me. well, two horrifying thoughts. The first being what an absolute fire hazard this is, and what a nightmare it would be to be trapped down here while the place is burning. I saw, look, I don't know if you can see that. I saw those two little, like, triangle corners sticking up behind. My first thought wasn't a jump scare at something being there. My first thought was, kitty? Yeah, well, we know that kitties probably did inhabit this place, and I hope they're doing well now. Unless those beds were for sale also. I think there was one more staircase down this way? Yeah, here we go. This is just so hidden right behind all this stuff. I've probably been in this room before, and yet somehow I missed a staircase leading upstairs. Oh, wait, but I didn't finish my thought from before. So the first horrifying thought was getting caught in here in a fire. The second horrifying thought, being caught in here when the lights go out. Imagine trying to feel your way around in here. These shelves and hallways just make for so much surface area, you'd never be able to feel your way out. Especially since only one of these staircases actually leads to a real exit. I mean, oh man, I gotta imagine the exterior of this place would be something even weirder, right? We've seen daylight through some windows already, so the fact that there's, well, not that one doesn't count, but the fact that there's darkness out of this one means that a lot of these are actually probably covered. I gotta wonder if this place sold, and if so, how much they were on the hook for. Did they get to keep all this stuff? I'm sure they had to address a number of code violations. But man, I hope this place was preserved at least in some way, because even if it might be a fire hazard, it just, I think the reason this spoke to people so much is because it just feels good to know that there's curiosities like this out there, that weird stuff like this exists. You know what? Idea for a horror movie. This place, but haunted. The place has been raided by the cops. That's like the opening scene. Maybe have some creepy stuff happen during that. But then it follows a group of people tasked with cleaning this place up and taking inventory and all that, and weird stuff happens to them as they're clearing this place out. If you do it like that, it could basically be the session 9 of this place. It would be creepy workplace horror, it would be liminal horror, haunting horror, and mystery of what this place is supposed to be. Imagine the stuff that they might have uncovered. But enough looking at the photo vomit version of this place. I say we let Officer Flatscreen have a try, and we'll see this in a little bit more detail. Officer Flatscreen reporting for duty, and wow. This place actually looks really, really different with a wider field of view. Let's see what that panoramic view looks like. Oh, that's cool. I'm sad I couldn't get this to work in VR, but look, as we hold it down, things resolve more, and we're able to see the two-dimensional photographs. Oh, imagine spending your days in a place like this. I mean, look, this is clearly some kind of organized, well, I say organized operation, but it also seems like there were people living here. People were sitting on these couches at night when they weren't doing the work, watching TV. And imagine wandering all of this while a thunderstorm goes outside, hearing the occasional rumble. I really do wonder what kind of memories would have been made in a place like this. How the people who inhabited it would have felt about it. Now, this place actually doesn't look nearly as bad as I would have imagined from the VR view. But I have a feeling things are going to take a turn once we head downstairs. You know, as far as I know, this is actually 2 firsts in 1 for Garry's mod. Photogrammetry and virtual tour. I just recently picked up a new 360 camera, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to make something like this if I can figure out how. Look, you can even see here, like, this almost looks like a hole in the floor. But if you look here, in this shot there's a tripod standing here, and in this shot, the chair is in the way, with the towel draped over it. And so the artifact that we're seeing here is kind of a shadow of that. This is actually kind of reminding me a little bit of the way LiDAR works. How certain artifacts can appear, and what those actually represent in the environment. Let's have a look at how dirty this place actually is. Yeah, look at that. That dirty concrete floor. Those are indeed cat beds. And they've just thrown a carpet just right in the middle there, or a rug. None of this looks up to code. It looks even dirtier in this view. But somehow, this place actually looks a lot more cozy. Yeah, when you see it resolved in this way, you start to get more of an idea of what it would have actually been like to spend your time here. And once we start getting into these hallways, this is what I wanted to point out. This 360 cam is actually, like, fairly high resolution, first of all. I just want to talk about how impressed I am at that. But if we come in here, let's just find some shelves to park ourselves next to. Look at how organized this is. Everything is sorted to a box, everything is labeled, and within each area, there's a lot of commonality between what these types of things are. So you see over here, we got all these DVDs, music albums over here. This is what leads me to believe that this must have been, like, this isn't just regular hoarding. This is some kind of retail scam, it's gotta be. Back here we have all kinds of books. And not for nothing, but this is actually kind of reminding me of the library in my elementary school as a kid. I've talked about it before. It was in the basement, and it wasn't too much cleaner than this, actually. Oh, actually, if we have a look at one of these panoramic views, maybe we can actually get a look at, yeah. This does just look like residential, a short lawn outside, what looks like a step with a railing, indicating that this was not residential always, maybe some kind of church. Ooh, I didn't notice this before. Yeah, in the back, there's just a little step up into here. And that's one of those, like, liminal, confusing things. Like, why would it be like that? Why would this closet need to be slightly elevated? Who knows what's in all these boxes? But, oh wait, let's try and get a look at what these labels say. I can't read them, but it looks like they're shirts. Like licensed shirts. Even more DVDs. Yeah, but these are all, like, specifically, like, fitness DVDs over here. I imagine they take one of what's in each box and tape it to the side so they can tell what's in it. Use that as the label. Okay, I think the bathtub is in the back here. Yeah, look at this. Oh, I don't know if I can look at that for too long. Oh, look how gross this is. Now, on the one hand, all that dirt and grime and possibly mold on the bottom of this thing indicates that it might not have been used for a while. But there's soap in the tray, there's all kinds of like shampoo and other products around. Were people actually using it like this? What were the people like who were taken out of here? This just reminds me of some of the theaters that I've worked at. You could absolutely set a horror game in here. Imagine trying to navigate. Every time you look around, you see something pass in front of a doorway or at the end of a row of shelves. This is amazing. I mean, you know, it's sort of a challenge. Looks like there's something of a crawl space there. It's sort of a challenge to the way we usually think of liminal spaces. I mean, I just got done playing Anemoiopolis, and we always think of these things as being large, empty spaces. Oop, there's pieces of the ceiling falling down onto the ground. But what if you absolutely pack these things with clutter? In my opinion, I actually find this a little bit more appealing. Although I guess that does come down to a matter of personal taste. Or I'll put it this way. I find this crampedness more appealing from a creepiness perspective. Not just because I feel like it makes it more immersive to be sort of wedged in like this in a properly scaled environment, but also because I feel like it's just more potential for horror in that incompleteness of information. Oh, I see. That's probably bug netting. I wonder if it doesn't maybe get really, really hot in here with all these computers going, and maybe they like to leave the door open during the summer. Alright, let's see what we can see from these windows. Yeah, it looks dark outside. I wonder if they're not covered. No, it looks like there's something, so either they're covered or partially covered, or it did just get dark while they were doing all of this. I mean, it must have taken a long time to take all these pictures. But now I think it's time for us to go ahead and have a look at this place in no clip. Oh, look at this. Wow, when you look at it from this perspective, it really gives you an angle on just how much stuff is in here. This is absolutely bizarre, but look. You have that residential area, which actually, it partially connects onto the office-y area, but then it's connected by a hallway into the warehouse, or we can call it the warehouse. I wonder if this isn't maybe partially below ground, and maybe there's like lawn up here. This is weird. I'm seeing a lot of these photos hovering outside in the void. Oh, we actually do get exteriors and... Dude, that is crazy. That looks downright tiny. You would never suspect. I wish we could walk around the outside. That is not what I expected to see at all. It must be two properties that were later connected, I guess? Yeah, look, there's like an alley in between. They're not even physically connected. They're actually... Well, I guess that little spot down there, I was going to try and point with the fizz gun, but it's not working. I guess that would be half of the hallway, the top half, downstairs. Liminal spaces do exist, and they're all around us. This is... After seeing what the exterior of this place looks like, I'm going to be looking at every house and other structure like this from now on, just wondering what it actually is that's going on inside. You know what? When I was a kid, my family was looking to move, and my dad was always on the computer looking at these virtual tours. And I was always so fascinated by them. I would always stand over his shoulder watching them, just because I've always had such a curiosity at what's in the houses that we pass by when we walk down the street. Stuff like this, it makes me feel so vindicated, like there actually is stuff out there to find. But if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.